Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back with a brand new What If. What if Deku could edit genetics? And this is part one of this series, part one of three, most likely. I like making these in threes, sometimes twos, but I'm feeling like this should be a three-parter. So yeah, if you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you want more, blow this up and I'll try to get it out to you as soon as possible. But for the people that are keeping up and the real ones in the community tab, you know what's up for the rest of this week. So I will get on the grind for making these episodes or these parts as soon as possible. All right, enough of that chit chat. Let's get right into the what if. Let's go. In a world where superpowers known as quirks were the reason for the new normal society, where children all around the world wanted to be a hero, there was a young boy by the name of Izuku Midoriya that wanted to be the strongest hero possible, like his idol, All Might. But with a quirk nowhere near as flashy as others, it would seem to make that dream extremely difficult. Mom, I can't wait to see what my quirk is. I know, honey. We're almost there, okay? His mother, Inko Midoriya, and him arrive at the doctor for a visit with the quirk doctor to see what kind of quirk he may have. When they arrive, he goes through various tests, and the quirk doctor reveals the results.
Okay, yeah, Miss Midoriya. So your son's quirk is extremely interesting. When doing the test, it seems like your son's quirk is the ability to edit genetics. As a whole, nobody knows the limits to this power or how much he can edit his or other genetics. But since quirks are part of us, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that with the right studying, he could adjust quirks, and or maybe even create them. Inko looks at the doctor in shock at what was just revealed, and she thanks him, and they head home. Mom, do you think my quirk will make me a great hero? Of course, honey. Your quirk will make you the best hero. Izuku smiles, and they make it home. In celebration, she makes him his favorite food, and the next day he has a school. When they arrive, he sees Bakugo. Kachan, what's your quirk? Oh, Izuku, I have bad news. I don't have a quirk. Oh, don't be sad, Kachan. I'm sure you can still be a hero. Yeah, you're right, Izuku. So, what is your quirk? It's kind of confusing, but they called it something like gene alteration. Whoa, that sounds so cool. They then hang out, and Bakugo began to get bullied and lost all his other friends besides Izuku. But Izuku, from a young age, told Bakugo that he would find a way to help him. Bakugo and Izuku for years would train together until they were about 10 years old. Kachan, I have to tell you something. What is it? My mom is going to start homeschooling me because she sent a letter to UA telling them about my quirk. Bakugo tells him that is awesome, but Izuku tells him that he won't be able to train and hang out with him nowhere near as much anymore, and that he will be alone to fend off the bullies. Bakugo smiles, telling him to not look down on him just because he's quirkless, and when Izuku gets more control of his quirk, he can just give him a quirk. I promise, Kachan, you and me will be the greatest heroes. For the next 5 years, all the way up until Izuku was 15 years old, he was only able to hang out with Bakugo once every month because of how much work and training he would have to do. Throughout that 5-year gap, a newer teacher by the name of Mr. Aizawa, other known as Eraserhead, was given the task to train Izuku, and he would be training the kid 3 times a week until he turned 15. Eventually, Midoriya figured out a way to change his own body, his quirk, and he now knows how basically the whole human body works.
He was even about to alter. He was even able to alter himself to be about 6 foot and like built pretty well, especially for a 15-year-old. Aizawa also trained him in hand-to-hand combat because they weren't sure how well his quirk would actually do in combat situations. The last day of middle school was coming up, and Izuku met up with Bakugo at their normal spot, but he wasn't anywhere to be seen. Izuku decided to go to his house, his old middle school, and he still couldn't find him, until he looked at the TV to see a villain attack, seeing Bakugo stuck in the middle. Kachan! Midoriya runs to the area it is happening to see nobody helping, and Bakugo struggling to get out of the sludge villain. Without any thought in his mind, he jumps straight into battle, throwing something at the villain's eyes. While distracted, Izuku taps into the villain's genetics and tries to find his quirk. Damn it, where is it? Izuku couldn't find it, so at a last-ditch effort, he looks at Bakugo. I hope this doesn't destroy your body, Kachan. Midoriya activates his quirk to see that Bakugo isn't quirkless. That his quirk just lay dormant. It's so bright. What is it? Midoriya reaches the quirk and activates it. Bakugo's eyes go red and his body erupts in flames. Kachan! What did I do? Did I kill him? The smoke and fire clears and the sludge villain is everywhere. Bakugo faints onto the ground and these large flame wings can be seen going back within his body. He picks up Bakugo and brings him to the ambulance. Pro Hero scolds Midoriya, but he says he's sorry. But when someone can do something to save another's life, doing nothing is worse than any punishment. Bakugo is then taken to the hospital, and Izuku tells his mom that they have to go there. Midoriya waits for hours, and Bakugo finally wakes up. Oi, Izuku, what are you doing here? Oh, thank God, you're okay, Kachan. Do you remember what happened? Bakugo tells him that he just remembers being engulfed in flames, and that was about it. Kachan, you have a quirk, and I didn't even give it to you. It just lay dormant within you, and I just activated it. Bakugo looks at him in shock, saying that the promise he made all those years ago really came true. He begins to cry, but when he does, his tears immediately evaporate. Yeah, so Kachan, it seems like you have some sort of fire type of quirk, but I deemed it as Angel Phoenix. Bakugo looks at him confused, and Midoriya explains what his quirk looked like within, and also what happened. It was so cool, Kachan. Your body burst into flames like Endeavor. The heat alone was insane. Bakugo thanks him, saying that he knows that he worked so hard to help them both become heroes, and that he will never forget what he did. Izuku smiles and tells him since middle school is basically over, they will be training a lot more, and that he will convince Eraserhead to help him train as well. Izuku then goes home after Bakugo is allowed to leave, and he goes to ask Aizawa something when he arrives. Aizawa-sensei, would you be willing to train me and my friend for the next 10 months?
The one you've been talking about? I saw the TV. His quirk needs to be trained, and you need to be less reckless.
I know, Sensei. I promise I will work on that. I seriously do promise. So does that mean you will train us both? Aizawa tells him that he agrees and that he'll basically train them both at UA's facility. For the next 10 months, they go to UA to train 3 times a week, and would train on their own for the other days. Bakugo worked on controlling his fire powers and also learned how to unlock his wings on command, but when he does so, he does lose some control. So he sticks to basically shooting fire blasts. Midoriya then works on editing his own quirk, learning that quirks have many layers to them that show weaknesses, strengths, and various other bodily strains. He still isn't quite able to control all of those things, but he is getting better at it. He was actually able to adjust Bakugo's quirk so that he has 2 pairs of wings. A set that he has is basically his massive like phoenix wings, but one smaller like an angel's. And angel-sized wings allow for him to control his fire better, and with some practice, he'll actually be able to fly a bit. With the last month before the exam, Aizawa tells the two
of them that they will need to basically study for the written portion of the exam, as well as make sure to pass. Also, Midoriya will be with you, Bakugo. He decided to forego his recommendation to take the entrance exam with you. Izuku begins to laugh while putting his hand on the back of his head. I can't let my best friend go in alone. Bakugo and Izuku then study for the next month, but Izuku finds it extremely easy because he's been taking advanced courses since, he's began Hope School, because he needed to basically understand so much about his quirk. Midoriya even helped Bakugo by adjusting the amount he is able to remember, helping him remember things a lot easier on top of him already being, pretty smart. The day of the entrance exam then arrived, and Midoriya and Bakugo began to head in. They began to talk about who's going to basically get first, and they argue about it as they walk in. When they enter, President Mike explains the written portion of the exam, and all the students are sent to rooms to take it. After everyone is finished, President Mike began explaining the practical and talking about the 1, 2, and 3-point robots, until he is cut off by a kid saying that he missed the 0 point. The kid with the blue hair then turns around. You with the green hair, please stop talking and listen, or you might as well leave because heroes know when to listen. Bakugo then leans over the desk staring at the kid. Oi, yell at him again like that, and we're gonna have a problem. As he says this, Bakugo's eyes begin to light a blaze of fire. The blue-haired kid sits down quickly, and President Mike continues. Kachan, you're kinda scary now. Bakugo laughs, but doesn't deny what was just said. They are both then split up into different fake cities for the practical exam. The gates swing open, and Midoriya goes running out full speed. Everyone stands still and waits at the gate and screams that he's cheating. No, he's not. There's no countdowns in a real battle. Midoriya then begins to smash through robots. Midoriya at this point was able to adjust his genetics so that he could have actually a second quirk. But since complicated quirks like Bakugo's would take a lot of adjustments in terms of his own body, he decided to create a quirk called Spartan, in which basically this quirk boosts all his physical attributes depending on his will to fight or confidence in a fight. So right now, Midoriya is pretty strong, fast, and has insane endurance. But if his emotions ever waver negatively, he will see a decline in his abilities. He goes around destroying tons of robots and is at 110 robot points in the rafters. Wow, Aizawa, you weren't kidding. This kid's the real deal. This isn't even his best environment. Solo fighting like this isn't even his style. What do you mean, Aizawa? Aizawa explains that this kid has the ability to boost everyone around him. Not only can he himself basically be stronger than normal, but he can also make others stronger than normal as well. Wow, I think we got a special type of hero here, Aizawa. But make sure to keep an eye on him on this one, even now that he is going to UA, because we don't want him basically to get in with the wrong crowd, or maybe even the villains get him. Nezu then activates the 0-pointer and the whole city begins to shake. Midoriya sees this and thinks that the best choice is just to run, but as he goes to do so, he sees someone stuck under the rubble. Please help me, someone! Midoriya goes running, trying to get the rubble off of her, but he can't get all of it off quick enough. Damn it, I didn't want to have to do this, but I guess I have Kachan to thank. Fire wings begin to spread behind Midoriya. Damn, my whole body hurts. My body's not made for this quirk. He then blasts fire at the large robot, completely melting it, creating a bright light on the other side of the city. Another bright light, very similar to Midoriya's, can be seen as well in the other city. Midoriya then falls to the ground. Ow, 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 that hurts. He then begins to create something within his body, switching out of his Spartan quirk for a regeneration quirk. Oh, that feels a little better, I guess. He gets up, and the burn marks on his body slowly begin to go away. He gets the girl out of the rubble and carries her over to Recovery Girl, and but as he leaves, she calls to him.
Wait, who are you? Oh, I'm Izuku Midoriya. I'm Mina Ashido. He smiles and says that he's glad that she seems to be okay. He runs off before she could say anything else and meets up with Bakugo. Hey Kachan, how did it go? Good. I even destroyed that big robot. Midoriya says that he did the same thanks to Bakugo's quirk, but it kinda left him some burn marks. Izuku, you need to figure out a way to adjust your quirk's capacity some more. Izuku says that he knows and then they head back to their homes. After a week passes, they both get the results of the exam. Izuku and Bakugo both open their letters at the same time. All Might appears saying that Bakugo got 120 points in total, giving him second place. Izuku got first place among everyone with 160 points, 110 robot, and 50 rescue points. All Might welcomes them to UA, and they both celebrate that they got in. Sorry, Kachan, I guess I beat you this time. Whatever, Izuku. Just wait, I will catch up to you and surpass you. Yeah, you in your dreams. They both laugh, and after a couple days pass, the first day of UA arrives. They both enter the classroom and sit down when most people haven't even arrived yet. Aizawa is in a sleeping bag behind his podium. Hello Aizawa, hope you are doing well, but it looks like you haven't slept at all. Midoriya, you've known me for 5 years. Have I ever gotten good sleep? Midoriya tells him that he could probably adjust his genetics, makeup, basically, to a point where maybe he could get better sleep. Aizawa springs up and is in front of Midoriya. Problem child, are you serious? Bakugo and Midoriya laugh, and Midoriya tells him that he can try to figure it out if he wants after class. He lays back down, and the rest of the students begin to enter the class, and a girl with pink skin runs over to Midoriya. Midoriya, right? You're the one who saved me. Thank you so much. Oh, hi Ashido. Yeah, no problem. Bakugo looks at him with a smirk of a, oh, okay, Izuku. Izuku looks at him with a death stare, but Bakugo just begins to laugh at him. Aizawa then tells the class to sit down. Hello, my name is Shota Aizawa, and I'm your homeroom teacher. Now everybody, stand up and introduce yourself one by one. Everyone does so, and the last person is Midoriya. He gets up and looks at Aizawa to basically ask if it's okay that he says his actual quirk, because ever since they started training, Aizawa told him to be careful about who he told his quirk to, because of how many basically bad people would come after him, or how much bad stuff people could do with a quirk like that. Aizawa nods, that basically saying that it's fine, and Midoriya begins to talk. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and my quirk is gene alteration. Everyone begins to ask what exactly that means, and he explains that most things that make up you, he can change, or even add things. A girl by the name of Momo stands up and asks if that means he can edit, get rid of, or add quirks. He says that he can actually do all three of those, and that ever since he was little, he thought like he would be the best combination of a frontline hero as well as a support hero for other pros. He sits down, and Aizawa tells the class to put on these PE uniforms and then head out to the field. They all get changed and meet Aizawa out at the practice field. Midoriya, you got first in the entrance exam, so take this ball and throw it as far as you can. Izuku takes the ball and walks over to the circle. He throws it and it goes flying. Infinity. Oh, good job, problem child. A girl then begins to talk. Wait, that's my quirk. Yeah, sorry about that. Uraraka, right? Yeah, you explained your quirk perfectly, so I decided to look into your quirk's genetic makeup, and it was pretty easy to replicate. Whoa, so you were able to copy my quirk that fast? Izuku basically says, yup, and begins to walk over to her. Also, here, this should help. Midoriya moves his hand in front of her and explains that he just adjusted her quirk so that she wouldn't get as sick as fast anymore. She thanks him and he heads back into the line. Bakugo is then next, and he ends up getting 4,000 meters, and the whole class is in shock at the power he displayed. Also, the heat that his body was like basically producing. They all begin to say that this is going to be so much fun. Midoriya tries to stop them, but Aizawa heard enough, saying that whoever is last will get expelled. The rest of the test goes on, and Midoriya got first, followed by Bakugo and then Shoto. Now for the last place student, Mineta. Mineta begins shaking like crazy. Aizawa slightly smirks and says, "It was just a logical ruse to make you try your hardest. Nobody's getting expelled. Now all of you are dismissed." They all head home, and Bakugo and Midoriya talk about how the first day was, saying that it was pretty easy, but to be fair, they would have been that since they're around basically Aizawa a lot longer than these other kids, that of course it seemed kind of easy. The next day comes, and when they arrive, Aizawa begins to explain to the class the plan. "Okay, today a different teacher will be teaching you. He will be here about right now." All Might then busts through the door. "I am here, walking through the door like a normal person." Everyone screams, "All Might!" And then he clicks a button and tells everyone to get on their hero outfits. Midoriya comes out with an outfit very similar to Night Eyes, but instead of it being like, white, it's actually green and black with very stretchy fabric. Midoriya approaches Bakugo, seeing him in his hero suit with holes in the back in his back for his wings, but keeps the same type of style as in canon, minus the grenade bracers. The orange also on his suit is now a dark red, but it changes color based on his body heat. Sick costume, Kachan. "Yeah, not bad yourself, Izuku." All Might then begins to explain that they will be doing hero versus villain training, and that the villains will be protecting a bomb, and the heroes must seize the bomb or capture both the villains. All Might announces the teams, and he says that the villains will be Bakugo and Ida, and the heroes will be Midoriya and Uraraka. The hero team then begins to plan. "So what do you think we should do, Midoriya?" "Well, avoid fighting, because ideally we don't want to fight Kachan or Bakugo in close quarters." She asks why, and he explains that he could probably beat him, but he admits this heat that will make it hard for the both of them to do anything without getting extremely fatigued. She agrees and says maybe they could scout out the building from basically the outside using her quirk. Midoriya tells her that's a great idea, and the time is then up. They then begin floating window to window, eventually finding the bomb. Midoriya then signals her to wait. He then deactivates Ida's quirk, and they bust through the window. They both run after the bomb, and he tries to get it away from them, but his legs don't move. Hero team wins. Bakugo comes running in and rolls his eyes, saying that he literally left for 5 seconds. Midoriya reactivates Ida's quirk, and they walk back to All Might. Midoriya is deemed as the MVP of the match because of basically his impeccable use of his quirk, and also the reduced amount of fighting he needed to actually touch the bomb. The rest of the class has their matches, and they are dismissed by All Might. Sorry that we didn't get to fight, Kachan, but I didn't want to have to deal with your fire again. Whatever, you nerd. You always come up with something on the fly. They both laugh and go home. The next day, they head to UA, and Aizawa explains that now that they have a class president and vice president in Tenya and Momo, they can do what truly matters. He says that they will be going to the USJ for rescue training. Ida gets everyone on the bus, and they begin talking about who they think has the strongest quirk. Bakugo then immediately just cuts them all off. This is a waste of time. Izuku has the strongest quirk. He can practically erase you all off the planet if he wanted to. Kachan, don't scare them. Come on, Izuku, they aren't... Bakugo looks at them, and all of them look completely terrified. Izuku facepalms and tells them that he would never do something like that, so there's no reason to worry. They all look at him and smile, feeling comfortable with his words for some reason. Bakugo looks at him and tilts his head. He whispers to Bakugo, saying that he activated a quirk that calms people down faster. Hey, that's a pretty good quirk, nerd. Aizawa then tells them all to get off the bus, and they all go into the USJ. They are greeted by Pro Hero 13, and she begins to explain what they will be doing. Out of nowhere, a portal begins to open in the middle of the area. Aizawa, look! Aizawa tells everyone to back up and tells 13 to protect the students. A man with hands all over his body comes out of the portal after all of his small fry villains. Kirogiri, that's the kid. Villains, go fetch him. And that's the end of part 1 of What If Deku Could Edit Genetics. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to comment down below any future suggestions. Also, check out my other socials or whatever down in the description below. If you want to follow them. I'm actually probably going to add my Instagram as well below. It's a YouTube Instagram that I made, so go check that out as well. That, my Twitch, all that stuff, all that good stuff, go check that out, please. I appreciate it. But that's about it, and I hope all of y'all have an amazing day. Later.